From the Caribbean News Desk, the morning edition. Good morning. I'm Denis Chabrol.
Watch it through them and move on. The pear tree brought down.
Hurricane Beryl, packing winds at 155 miles per hour, slammed Jamaica yesterday. A number of buildings were badly damaged. Several areas were flooded due to heavy rainfall and storm surges. Electricity supply to a number of areas was cut. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has already declared the entire island a disaster area. The Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, SEDEMA, says preparations are being made to respond to Jamaica. SEDEMA's Executive Director is Elizabeth Riley.
We have activated our regional response mechanism and it is on standby to support Jamaica. We were in discussions with Jamaica on the operational scenario that they were anticipating, including looking at matters of potential population to be affected, etc. So the arrangements are on standby, including the CARICOM Disaster Relief Unit that's there. We are also looking at having appropriate surge support available for them as well.
The Cayman Islands is also preparing for Hurricane Beryl's arrival early this morning. A number of shelters, including those that are pet-friendly, have been prepared and health and emergency personnel are on standby. Cayman Islands Premier Juliana O'Connor-Connolly says a number of tourists managed to leave the territory ahead of some very rough weather.
Hurricane Beryl poses, and I want to emphasize, significant threat to all three of our islands, including life-threatening storm surges, damaging waves, heavy rainfall, which may lead to flooding. As you know, we had quite a bit of rain recently, and the grounds are already very saturated, so it lends to trees having a tendency to fall over much quicker had it come 4 weeks ago when we were still experiencing the drought period.
The Premier says police are in standby to deal with crimes, including looting. Ahead of the storm's arrival, Opposition leader Roy McTaggart said he was satisfied with preparations on that British dependency.
They have been extremely grateful for the response that has come from the government in terms of the provision of all the plywood and the sandbags. All of these things being provided by government. And I think, our people are really grateful for what has been given. And I think at the moment, my view is that we are as prepared as we can be.
Governor Jane Owen says a United Kingdom military ship is due to arrive in the Caribbean to be on standby. And the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, is deploying teams to the Caribbean. Stephen Dujarric is the spokesperson for the Secretary General.
OCHA is deploying teams to Belize ahead of the expected landfall of the hurricane, with a team also heading to Jamaica. They're also looking at preparedness throughout Central America, and teams from the UN Disaster Assessment and Coordination unit are also being deployed to Barbados, Jamaica, and potentially Belize.
Meanwhile, SEDEMA says the United Nations World Food Programme has teamed up with Massey to move food supplies to the affected islands through a relief transshipment hub. Grenada has asked international financial institutions to reschedule the country's debt in the wake of Hurricane Beryl. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell says cleanup, reconstruction and relief on sister islands, Carriacou and Petit Martinique, will cost a lot of money, and so the country is asking for its debt payments to be pushed back.
The Minister of Finance has already written to some of our multilateral partners to indicate that this catastrophic event has happened and to trigger our debt suspension clause in some of these agreements, given the fact that we will need significant resources just to clean up Grenada. The cleanup alone will run into the tens of millions of dollars. So we are also going to create a task force to treat with the impact of this significant catastrophic event on the current 2024 budget, the economy, and the government's fiscal situation.
He says Grenada will have to go back to Parliament for more cash because a lot of money in this year's national budget has to be spent on dealing with the aftermath of the storm. This has been the Morning Edition from the Caribbean News Desk. You may contact us by phone or WhatsApp on +592 700 9293. Thanks for listening.